And together we're SENTAI 7. Right now I'm here with Zero, and I'm live at the Green Lagoon. What's up, everyone? This is Red Zero. Wanted to talk.
Well, it might be surprising to my viewers that I'm doing a salute to Ren Zero. Now, I've been kind of dispensing with trying to get involved with the drama on here because we've got enough of that to last us a lifetime on here. And just kind of shying away from all this crap. But also getting the memory going a little bit of Ren Zero. Now, Ren Zero did, I thought, some good videos. Surprised to hear this from me. But I don't think it could ever be duplicated again, actually. Now that he's out of country, it just wouldn't be the same. But I happened to go back to some of his old videos. And I remember looking at his girlfriend at the time and see the big difference between her then and now. It must be all those restaurants and eating out and the viewers giving money and all that lead to the transformation from then to now. We're not going to jump on that. It's just a visual thing. But, you know, when you think about it, Ren did a good job editing. He did a good job. There was nothing fancy about Ren's show at all. But Ren did have a talent for making YouTube videos. You know, his so-called adventures of him and his girlfriend. And some of them were just everyday mundane stuff. You know, a lot of it, of course, was going to restaurants. And a lot of it is him boasting about how many red horses he could drink and so forth and so forth. All in all, you know, Ren's material was not bad. I used to follow Ren. And don't forget, I have met him in Chixie on a couple of occasions. And I look back then and I come back to modern day. It's kind of amazing all the things that have transpired, that he's actually living and working in the United States right now. And she's doing her thing in the Philippines until they meet again. And I don't know, in the future, she's going to move over to America. I have no idea. I guess it's going in that direction. But, you know, Ren, and I even told him that, Ren did some good shows. Everything from the music that he added to his shows, and some of his, you know, basic to maybe more than basic editing.
What can this cationic storage box with steel frame?
He didn't really do a bad show, as vloggers go, and call it the adventures or misadventures of Ren Zero. Of course, I've always had the delight when the Bonka boat, and everybody makes a lot of fun about his acquisition, and they were on open water and they still managed to hit another Bonka boat, and I never understood how that happened. Ren and I have had our ups and downs, you know, you might say. But, you know, as YouTube shows go, Ren didn't really concentrate, when you think about it, on the negative. Sure, he got involved with all that vortex and all that. Ren really didn't. And he created a show out of ordinary, which is what you should do. He created a show out of very ordinary things that him and Chixie would do. Okay. And his show had some really good popularity. I guess he realized that, you know, the editing and everything involved and just putting in one show is probably not worth it. And then, of course, you know, he was under the gun a lot of times himself. He had his own share of, shall I say, adversaries. But he seemed to get through it. Of course, I mean, he wasn't always honest with his viewers about a lot of different things, but we're not making the judgment on character. That's a whole nother story. But I think as a video maker, even his choice of music that he would use on there was excellent. You're probably saying, Frank, I can't believe you're saying something great about Ren Zero. Well, I am, because I thought he did good videos. And I wouldn't say I was an avid follower of him. That wouldn't be true. But the videos I did see of him putting on during his active time, they were not bad. They were not bad at all, actually. I'm not getting involved with that. I know his name. I'm not getting involved in that. All right, I'm not going to get involved with that. Okay, we're having a clean show here this morning. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I've been in laid-back mode here. Oh, fighting sinus problems as usual. How many times can you blow your nose a day, you know? Antihistamines, decongestants, it gets tiring. And I've been kind of just you know, taking a very brief pause and just watch everybody on here just go at each other and get my enjoyment that way, I guess. It's more fun that way, actually. It's getting pretty heavy and intense on here, and there's new white knight channels popping up, and everybody's attacking each other, and sometimes it's nice sidelines and just watch the nonsense going on and the hate mud pies being thrown at each other, and it's I don't know. I hate to say it, I get more satisfaction from that. They're really coming on and just, I mean, there's a lot I could say about the trolls on here, about the lies being spread and haters calling other people haters and the absurdity of the whole thing, really. It's intense. It just really is. But yeah, I'm actually getting more pleasure out of tuning into a few of the shows on here, a few new things that are popping up. And I get more enjoyment that way, I have to be honest with you. I get a lot more enjoyment that way. I don't have to be involved with that shit. I could be an observer from a distance and still just get the same joy as other than putting on a show and discussing the faults and the psychology of some of the biggest haters on here. So here I am. But anyway, the subject is Ren Zero, which how many people have been talking about. How do I really feel? How do you feel about Ren Zero? I've always had, of course, a lot of mixed feelings about him. We go back and forth, both of us. But all in all, I respect him as a vlogger. I know a lot of you are probably saying, are you kidding? I can't believe that's coming from your mouth. Not a bad vlogger. Not a bad vlogger. I think all his elements pretty much came together to make hundreds of really good shows.
Oh, the police is vlogger. The police? Oh, that's right. We got police officers here.
Forever. Find her also forever.
She wants a forever red.
I'm bored, so figure I'd go on and find out who's out there. First off, I gotta get the panel up.
Now, he wasn't always truthful about the things he talked about on here, or maybe some of the people he talked about. But when he did general videos of just out and about, most of the time they were going to restaurants or they went to a party and so forth. And some of the crazy things that happened to him when him and got ripped off their wallets and camera and everything. Well, that was a whole different story as to what really happened on that. And, everybody caught that bit of video with Chica and what she said to him. And they were kind of fighting and all that stuff. Yeah, even the misadventures of Ren Zero was interesting. And everybody looked forward to see what was going to happen next. It was kind of like the Barry Jordan situation, different though. People looked in to see if Ren was going to have a train wreck, and maybe in his case, a boat wreck or something. But either way, he did put on some material, and I've always liked his choice of intro music and so forth. Envious of how he structured his channel. And he did get enough viewers to keep the channel going and be very successful. I don't think really that if he made a comeback, unless he was in the Philippines, I just don't think it would actually be the same. In fact, no, it just won't be the same. Everybody evolves. He's evolved and he's changed, and he's back in America, away from here, and he's a different person.
So we're gonna be with family today. Your uncle's probably gonna be there. We're in a Jeep, or not Jeep, we're in a truck right now. Wasted space. I would say in the park here.
Well, I could go through a lot of videos of his, but there's too many on here. Now, despite what anybody thinks of Ren, and he is quite a character, we definitely know that. He has a goal, and his goal is probably more likely to get Chica there in America. But instead of sitting on his ass the whole time, he's out working. He's in California, and he's working. And him and Chica have a goal, and there's nothing wrong with what he's doing. Whether you think that she's just trying to upstep to come to America, whether you think she's using Ren for that, put that to the side. There is a goal, at least, that they have, and it's a positive goal. And whether it's to raise money to would build a house in America, in the Philippines later on. Or I just don't think either way it's a bad idea.
What's up, guys? This is Ren Zero.
And this is Cheng.
And together we are. All right.
Ren Zero, and together we are Sentai 7. Oh, the harmony on that. We're so used to hearing that little track at the beginning of the shows. And they worked as a team, and it worked. I remember back in the day when I complimented him, and I told him, I said, yeah, you know, I enjoyed watching his shows. And whether, you know, it was anything that was like radically exciting or not, just even the mundane stuff, just going out together, they're on a trike, they're at a restaurant, they're at a party, whatever it was. Ren had a magic touch with that. I know you're still surprised at me saying that. Ren had a magic touch with that. He was very good in what he did, okay? Yeah, he screwed up a lot of times, Ren, and, you know, nobody's perfect. You know, boy, we say that about YouTubers on here. Nobody's perfect, but Ren wasn't perfect, and there was certainly a lot of concern people had about his liver, besides his lover. And he did drink a lot from when he got up in the morning. And the times I met Ren, and one in the condo, he was drinking a big old bottle of Red Horse. And he was thin, kind of scraggly looking. And I don't know what he looks like now. I imagine for his job, he probably had to clean up his act a little bit. But you got to give people credit when they're really trying to put their life together. There's nothing bad that anybody can say about that at all. So I applaud Fred, which is his real name. I applaud him for his efforts to pull his life together. At least he's trying to do something. You got to give him credit for that. Okay. And it goes for other vloggers too. Even Dimples and Drake. A lot of people attack them and say, well, you know, Drake's a simp, and, you know, Drake spent 30,000 American dollars building a house for his girlfriend. Well, I'm not really sure I see anything wrong with that. I think that's a decision that Drake had to make, and, you know, maybe he really loves her. And this is his way of expressing his love and his future. I don't know what's going on with him. It's really not my business. He's waiting to retire. I don't know. He's waiting to save enough money to come out there to live permanently. I mean, you got to have an income. So maybe he's waiting to get in a pension on his job or whatever it might be. Hopefully it's not waiting until he actually gets a Social Security. I don't know if they give that in Canada. I don't know. Maybe they do. But, you know, these are people that are at least trying to get their act together. And you got to applaud them for that. Not to attack him for that. There's really no reason, unless there's envy or something. Drake shouldn't be attacked because he sticks up for his woman. Why should he be attacked for that? He shouldn't be. I commend him. I mean, I do the same. But anyway, this is more about Ren Zero here. Yeah, I went back on some tracks, different things that Ren Zero put out, because he hasn't obviously been active, except maybe a little cameo on somebody's show, not particularly on camera, but we've heard a few words from him every now and then. Chixie is still on, but she's, from what I can see, she's not on very much. I don't know if her popularity has waned to the side of the road. I don't know, but not like the active show she used to have. And boy, did she get merchandise in from subscribers that you could open up a store. But unfortunate part for her is that she was eating a lot of the merchandise coming in and created quite a metamorphosis for her, which I feel bad for, because I've met her and she was very slim, and very different now.
All right, okay, now we're on our way back. Are you full now?
This is our garden, guys.
We ain't got no garden now. This
Our
is our
store.
freaking. This is the day.
But Ren Zero, they created a lot of memories for me.
How long has it been since you
As
bought
far
a
as
gift for your
YouTube
child?
is concerned, you know, I mean, they created a lot of good listening pleasure on there. You know, you could deny that or not, but I got a lot of good listening pleasure from him when he wasn't either on the attack of somebody or something. And as I said, if you keep to the positive on your show, that's going to make your show grow. And as much as people think that the drama, helps your channel grow and there's a future in any show that continues doing this kind of drama, it's not necessarily true that your channel is going to grow that way. That's not true at all. They usually fall apart after a while, but they make so many enemies that it's not even worth going on anymore. I've even noticed recently with what's his name from Boracay a few days or so. The heat got really pretty strong on him, and as obnoxious as the guy is, he's realizing that no matter how many subscribers he has, and he considers it his army, it really doesn't outweigh some of the material that he put on that offended people in so many ways. And hold on, I gotta blow my nose. I'll put it on to mic. Holy shit, let me tell you. No, I'd rather not tell you. Oh my God. Ugh. But I'm not going to do a long show this morning, and if you guys are wondering why, I know you expect me to do something every single day, but that's not really the case. And what's going to be happening here is there's enough drama going on these days that you don't need me on to discuss and analyze the drama. I think you know the characters on here very well. I think you know what they're doing. I think you know whether they're being honest or not. Rumors, allegations, everything from child predatorship to, nailing Christ to the cross. Okay, we've heard it all and more. But sometimes you like to step back just a little bit and, choose your weapons. Choose whose show you want to listen to. If you really want to hear the drama, which show that you want to go to listen to drama, because now you've got plenty of shows which is just chock load of drama. It just continues and continues, and these people incriminate themselves, and they make a total fool of themselves on here, being caught in lies and intense hypocrisy. And rather than be involved in that, I'd rather just listen to some of that and watch who they're going to attack next. I mean, there's always a victim on here, and there always will be. Everybody's fighting with each other. If it isn't Big Kevin and Fazio fighting with each other, if it isn't Ricky finding more and more victims to talk about on his show, the hypocrisy, as I said, is deafening. The 5-star lifestyle, blah, 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 but we know that's not true. And, him facing a lot of adversity himself legally, especially now. And people are responsible for their own destruction. So why not let them just do what they do best? Just kick back. I don't have to say a word sorry about the dogs. I don't have to say a word about these characters anymore because they're doing a good enough job as it is. And if you're following these shows, you know exactly what's going on with them. And it's getting good, boys. It's getting good. Everybody makes that mistake. They all make that mistake, and they just keep on putting nails on their coffin. And I'd rather not be the one that supplies the nails, but I just like to be a casual observer of watching everything transpire the way it does, like it did with Barry Jordan. Of course, I had a part in that, but a very big part. But I knew that would happen, and I knew where all that shit was going, and I allowed him to be himself. I allowed him to put his own nails in his own coffin, and where is he now? Get the point? Yeah, I'm sure you do. So he's paying for his crimes, and it's not over yet. It's just beginning. I hate to say, well, I like to say, but hate to say at the same time, that his adventure is far from being over. Yeah. So everybody, let everybody just, take care of themselves and fight their own battles on here. And sometimes it's more fun just to listen than to participate. I've been finding that to be true, actually. There are so many channels now that are fighting with each other, so many characters, and we got new channels popping up that are kind of like white knight channels in a way, and kind of taking over where Andy Omar did. And who knows, one of them could be Andy Omar, but don't matter who it is. If what they speak are factual, listen to them. If they're entertaining to you, listen to them. You get something out of it, listen to them. do what you feel you need to do. But I think sometimes just kicking back and just listening to some of the stuff rather than posting about every single thing I hear on here. And that gets pretty old, and I guess it got pretty old with me. The fact that I'm doing a show this morning was an impulse thing because I went back to listen to some Sentai 7 stuff. Believe it or not, Sentai 7 stuff grounds me. It really does. It takes me back to my early days when I had interest in watching somebody's show. And Sentai 7, Renzo, he was one of them. Believe it or not, I know you find it hard to believe. He was one of the shows I enjoyed actually watching. I even told him, I said, your interaction with your girlfriend and everything around you, when they can make something as simple as going out for a dinner or something, a little outing, very interesting. And sure, there was a lot of misadventures, like everybody else watches shows for that reason. He had his share of misadventures and buffoonery and going on in his show. That kind of added a little spice to it every now and then, just to get above the mundane. But sometimes there's nothing wrong with mundane. They make the best shows. You don't need the drama. It's just a mundane is a seller. Because there's so much drama now here on YouTube that people are saying, okay, yeah, I mean, I still like the drama and I'll tune in on it, but I don't know, man, I need something different. It's getting old and it's the same worn out characters, doing the same worn out phony donation campaigns and putting out lies and allegations against people. If you're really into that, just go back on their shows, old shows, and you don't need the new shows. It's just the same shit over and over and over again. And I have to be really honest with you, it's gotten really old with me. Not old enough to say I'm just permanently getting off YouTube. I'm be the one that would decide that, but I think I'm sort of kind of leaning back and I'm enjoying it more. I got other things in my life going on than YouTube, that I have to attend to every day, every single day. I don't talk about everything, and I don't want to really get, as I said, into my private life. I don't mean that there's trouble in paradise. That's not what I mean. I mean, I do things other than going on YouTube, despite what people think. Things that keep me active, things that keep my mind going. Even attending to my own health things, like my sinuses are always exploding like a stick of dynamite all the time. And sometimes I just don't feel like going on because I got that post-nasal drip, makes me cough, or I'm blowing my nose incessantly. It just doesn't make for good show. I'm sold on that. And our society is going to shit on it all. They don't know how to they don't know how in real life anymore people to relate on a one-to-one level with another human, and everything has to be expressed on social media. Yeah, it's actually come down to that, and we're all witness to that, and I'm witness to that. It's a good way of expressing yourself, but then, how much could you express yourself and be respected for what you say? Okay, you don't always get the respect that you want, or you need, or you try. There's people going to like you, and there's people that don't like you, and that's just the way it is, whether you like it or not. So I'm kind of taking a little kickback stance on here. Um, Decided to do something of the positive here, really positive, and talk about a YouTuber that I think has really been underplayed for his role on YouTube. Of all people, Ren Zero. Ren Zero, of all people. It's kind of a bad statement, of all people, but Ren had his bad moments, and he had a lot of good moments too. Sure, we like to see him just drunken on his ass and making a fool of himself and all that, and crashing his boat into another boat in open water. I mean, how does that even happen? I call some of it the misadventures of Ren Zero, and there certainly was a lot. There was a lot, and a whole lot that went behind the scenes. And who could forget the interview he did with me, trying to find fault on me, and had to admit that, no, he's not lying. He said, Frank's not lying. Even the famous Ren Zero realized that Frank was who he was, that he was truthful and was not lying. And he tried to find dirt on me. That was the whole point of him doing an interview at that condo that time. And he admitted himself he just could not find any wrong with me. There you go. The famous Ren Zero. Ren Zero. So let us salute, and Ren, if you're listening, you're kind of an interesting guy. And we probably could have been good friends. Okay, if there was an outside interference, and maybe if you didn't get too carried away with, wanting to be so popular and having to toss dirt in other people's faces to get there, like you did with me, could have been good friends. Yeah, could have been. Could have been, believe it or not. I think so, on my end anyway. Chixie was always a nice girl. I never had a problem with Chixie, and, you know, Ren could never say that. In fact, he admitted that Frank's never talked bad about, and when we met, never said anything bad about Chixie and all that. He was really cool to her and all that. And of course I was. I'm cool to everyone. When somebody shows me respect, that's a whole different story. And when they don't show me respect, well, you know how that goes. Yeah, unfortunately for those people that have been victimized by me, if you want to use that word, victimized, when I was actually the victim, but they didn't like it when the shoe was on the other foot. That's the way it works here on YouTube. Okay, well, okay, guys, I didn't want to do a long morning show. I appreciate you showing up. Let's give some applaud to our boy, Mr. Ren Zero.
Now she's vlogging over here. Look at her.
Same place we've been.
Yeah, same place.